And the girls, Debbie and Cheryl, doing something daring, while Jeff comes over for a drink of Coca-Cola and get the sand wiped off his face. The daring doll's still at it. Bill and Doug testing the water, doing brave dives off the boat. Neither one at this time a good swimmer, but they got there. They were exposed to the water, and they were exposed to the challenge of trying to win a water duel. Of course, they never won, and Jeff always seemed to get the worst of it. Jeff says enough is enough. And here we are on the ferry that goes over to Mackinac. Mackinac is a beautiful island between the upper and lower peninsula of Michigan. No automobiles are allowed except for the fire truck and an ambulance. All transportation is by carriage, by horseback, by foot, or by bicycle. Here's Billy and Jeff loading onto the carriage to take a tour of the old fort, the old city around Mackinac. Unfortunately, the film didn't come out all that great, but it's truly a beautiful place. With the old fortress, the hills surrounding the fort, and some of the buildings which were dated back to the 1800s that provided the shelter and the stores for the fortification as the fur traders moved up and down the Great Lakes, coming through this strait, working their way from the far west, going east with their bounty for the year. This shows the ferry from the top of the hill as we look down, coming in from Mackinac City on the northern tip of the southern peninsula of Michigan out to the island. And some of the old buildings. And Jeff and Bill with a cannon, shooting at the ferry as it goes back across the straits of Mackinac. The end of the day at Mackinac. Back to Otsego, where we were missed by the ducks. Outside our cabin on the lake, waiting to be fed. Their daily ration of bread by Cheryl and Debbie, and Doug and Bill, and little Jefferino. And Bill and Doug were actually getting into fishing by this time, as you can see by the string of bluegills. And then shortly thereafter, Shirley and I and our family moved to California. Shortly after moving to California and having with Becky, waiting her birth, Opal came to visit us. And we made a trip to Disneyland. A beautiful day, although much too short to see all the many things there were to see. But during that visit of Opal and during our trip to Disneyland, we were able to ride on the Delta Queen. Of course, have delightful lunch. and emulate Humphrey Bogart in riding up some of the African rivers as portrayed in the movie African Queen. Going up the river, we saw alligators, villages occupied by cannibals. The monorail system, which is new at that time, and we took a submarine ride, which might have never gone under the water, but they certainly had it designed so that you thought you were in the depths of the ocean, as you saw the coral and the various forms of sea life swim past the windows as it went into one of the tunnels. Then we got Cheryl and Grandma and Jeff and Bill into some go-cars, and they had a run around the track. An exciting time was had by all. Then the end of the day, we all had to walk up to the camera and say hello and goodbye to Disneyland. And somewhere here, I think that Disneyland was out of sequence because it occurred after this series we have here. This series we have here is 1962, and we moved to California shortly after. And this was a film that was taken of Bud and his family with Jeff in their company at Snyder Park. With Grandma helping spin the merry-go-round, with Judy, Jeff with the hood on,